Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you in another video. Alright, so I decided to go to the observatory today, get a little fresh air in, sat there, thought about the Lakers, thought about the NBA and everything that's going on over there. And now I'm on my way home with a few things to think about to share with you guys. One, Paul Pierce is giving us bulletin board material. Bulletin board material, you guys. He's sitting there saying that he thinks the Lakers are going to lose the series. And he says it's because the Nuggets are our daddy. First of all, that man is a disgrace. He's from Inglewood, California. Born and raised in, and he was born in Oakland, but raised in Inglewood. Disgrace. I ain't forgot that he was the one who led the charge for the Beat LA chant in 09 when his team won the Eastern Conference Finals. He started that. It was him who put that crap in the air, and then the team followed him. And you from the West Coast and that's what you're doing? Trash. So yeah, that's what I got to say about Paul Pierce. Just a disgrace, man. But nevertheless, it is what it is, man. I respect people like Gilbert Arenas, who as soon as their careers end, they get right back to it. Yeah, when you're a basketball player, of course you ain't trying to let your opponent win. But when it's time for it to end, you're supposed to get back to what time it is. You still grew up a Laker fan, you're supposed to get right back to it when your career is over. Guy like that, he a Celtic for life, man, so he can go down with him. You know what I'm saying? That's why I respect, like, people who are fans for real. That fandom don't go away just because you're a professional for 15, 20 years. It ain't supposed to anyway, not if you were a real fan. Now, if you was a fake fan or a bandwagoner or a player fan, and yeah, you're going to flow with the wind. But if you're a real person from out here, and this is your hometown, they represent your city, and you starting to chant and you calling other teams our daddy, you might as well just say you from somewhere else, bro. You definitely ain't from the soil. So I just want to put that out there and mean it. Very much mean it. It's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of people from LA. They don't love the Lakers. That's cool, bro. But if you grew up a fan, that's this type of behavior is ridiculous. It should never happen. That's rhetoric and behavior that should never come out of your mouth. It's trash. So that's what I wanted to get out first. That's the first thought that came to mind. I just saw that crap I just got off the bus right now, and I seen that right before getting off. So I want to make sure I get that off. But yeah, man. Of course, I left a Laker video earlier here. It should be uploading now as I record this. Hopefully, it will be done within a few hours because, of course, YouTube slowed down my upload speed. Most of my followers, I'm sure, understand that at this point. About 3 months ago, they just decided to slow down my upload speed during the day. Anything before 9 o'clock uploads very fast. After that, it slows down tremendously till about midnight. So between midnight and 9 a.m., I should be able to upload things at a regular speed. Any other time, it's going to take about 4 hours for a 25-30 minute video to upload, man. So they just trying to silence me because I talk about real stuff on here, not just sports. And those who benefit most from the things that I am against are the ones who happen to be running our favorite social media sites. So that's nothing new, man. We know what the world is about these days. But we try to get our minds off of that type of stuff by enjoying our pastimes, for which they also control in a lot of cases. LA Lakers and your NBA teams. And so, you know, we'll get back to it. But I just want everybody to know that my upload speeds are indeed being done like that on purpose. But nevertheless, man, next thing on my mind right now is just understanding that the basketball team has a lot coming up against them, man. You're not supposed to win any games in this series. No one expects anything out of you. Everybody's picking against you. And then what it really comes down to is that you want to put yourself in the strongest position to just overcome being that underdog. You want to be that underdog and overcome it. Usually we don't have the benefit of being a severe underdog like this. Even back when we were slightly worse than teams, quote unquote, it wasn't as bad as this. Even last year when we were going up against the Denver Nuggets, people thought we would lose the series. Some thought it was serious, but nothing like this. I don't think the Lakers have been an underdog this severe in my lifetime. Not in my lifetime. Not while being what you would consider a contender. Now, if we were a bad team, barely making the playoffs, I remember one year we went up against the Phoenix Suns, we had a Kobe Bryant-led team. We weren't expected to win at all. We didn't win the series. Everything went as planned. But this year, I think we're a severe underdog, man. And I think we can benefit a great deal from that. You got to have your mindset on proving the doubters wrong and throwing what you can at the situation. Now, obviously, if your matchups don't match up properly, then you're just going to lose. I mean, basketball's a game of matchups, and that is a huge part of the circumstance there. But if you're going to go up against teams that you're outmatched against, you got to take advantage of every possible advantage you have. And that starts with the mental advantage. You cannot just walk into the series believing you're going to lose and then proceeding to make mistakes because what's the use, right? That type of mentality will get you swept and gain you no respect. And I think that is just as much the gain in this series as anything else. I've been talking about it, and it's been on my mind heavy. It's been on my heart heavy as a Laker fan. I do not like the disrespect we're receiving. I don't like it coming from Paul Pierce. I don't like it coming from some of the Laker analysts. I don't like it coming from the Denver Nuggets coach, Mike Malone. Some people, and some of them call themselves Laker fans, but they are low-key disrespecting our unit. They give them no chance to win. They're giving Jokic all the praise in the world, which a lot of it I agree with, but if you're on our side, you're supposed to temper some of that. And I don't like the overall defeatist attitude and just the foregone conclusion that we're just supposed to get stomped out. If it happens, the matchups say, hey, that's what it is. But the energy surrounding our side, as it pertains to this series, leaves us even less chance to win than probably the matchup issues do. Some of y'all just defeated before the game even tips off. Some of y'all think if we don't win the first game, we ain't got a single shot. And I just don't think that mentality can provide any success if the team adapts to it. You can't go into this series thinking because we lose game one, we can't win the series. That's not real. That's not real. You may drop game one and you get the split in game two. But like, I've seen so many different series go so many different ways, including watching Doc Rivers blow like 3-1 leads. So you can't possibly think that what's on paper is going to actually be 100% as you see it play out on the court. It's not necessarily going to tell the story that way. Injuries could tell the stories. Guys having cold streaks can tell the story. Various dudes getting hot. A guy making a name for himself in a random basketball game that is huge. A pivotal game 3. Now you got a big game out of some random dude. These type of things tell the story in the playoffs. Not people's defeatist attitudes and the foregone conclusion that a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis can't defend themselves, or rather can't put forth an energy that would allow for them to have a chance. There's no way in hell Genie's paying this much for our superstars. There's no way in hell we've done all this mortgage into the future for us to run into a team like Denver who's only 8 deep and feel like we can't win. I'm sorry, she might as well blow it up if that's what's real. If that's really what this is, then why are we going forward with it after this season? Why are we even re-signing some of these dudes if they can't compete at all? And that stands for everybody. I'm not singling out no one player when I say that. If we already defeated before the series starts, what the hell are we paying for? Any of us. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my attitude. I understand that Denver Nuggets are a very, very advantageous basketball team as it pertains to these matchups. I understand that they have scared the crap out of a lot of people by beating us as much as they have. I understand they got Jokic, and I know what he brings to the table, and I do think of him as the best player in basketball. That's fine. But I see a bunch of crap on the back of their bench. I'm sorry. A bunch of unproven dudes, a bunch of washed up dudes, all types of stuff after that 8-player rotation that they have. I don't see nothing there that should make us feel like we can't overcome it. I don't. I don't. I like Christian Brown. I like Peyton Watson. I think, DJ has shown that he could play big. DJ and Reggie Jackson had a massive game that made us understand they could throw it back anytime. Pause. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. They can go back into their old ways and have big games. We seen them do it when Jokic and Murray and Porter were all out last year. They went for some games that were just unreal. I get that and respect that. And if that happens in these playoffs, I'll tip my hat. But I'm not expecting that to happen in these playoffs. I'm not. If they have a renaissance game like that, great. But I'm not expecting it. What I'm expecting is 8 players in rotation for the Denver Nuggets to have a good, solid advantage over the Lakers. After that, if you get into the meat and potatoes of what they got on that bench, bro, you're asking for people to overplay their potential in order to overcome you. And that, my friends, is essentially what I want us to exploit. Get people in foul trouble, get in people's heads, make them throw themselves out of the basketball game, whatever you got to do to expose that damn bench. I said the same thing last year. I'm saying the same thing right now. Denver's bench is not very good. I'm not going to say it's trash because that's disrespecting champs. That's disrespecting what it is that I believe they can do. But they are not better than you once you start getting into the meat and potatoes of that damn bench. It's just not. And people are not going to put a lot of emphasis on their bench because you never feel like you have to actually expose it. Or they have such high-level 8 players to where even if the bench is exposed, if 2 of them is on the floor, they should be able to do damage. All of that's cool. But in the playoffs, show me their bench. We did a terrible job of that last year. And mind you, they had guys on their bench we respected. Old man Green, he's in Houston now. Bruce Brown, he took the bag. He's stuck in Toronto wasteland. There's nothing on that bench that should scare you, LA. Nothing on that bench that should scare you. They got role players that complement what they have, but nothing on that bench that should scare you. I'm sorry, they just don't have that. You know what I mean? And so, for me, with a team that has added Spencer Dinwiddie, we know what he can do when he's playing well. I don't know if he can do it in this system, but in Dallas, he acted a fool. A lot of times. There's some good things is what I'm trying to say for those who don't understand that slang. He went nuts. He was cooking, as y'all like to say. Overused phrase. Cooking. Yeah, everybody want to say everybody cooking. But that's what he did. He cooked a lot. And we saw him do great things for the Dallas Mavericks. And if we can put the ball in his hands and let him be a point guard, he'll do good things for us too. Gabe Vincent, same thing. That's a whole dynamic that they don't have any preparation for as it pertains to what they have data for. He was with the Heat last year. He's been back for about 6 games now. I expect his best basketball in a Laker uniform should be ahead of us in this series. And they have to deal with him. They got to deal with his smarts. They got to deal with his ability to dig in and snatch the ball from people. Hopefully his 3-ball will fall. Hopefully he'll start making layups because those have been issues. But he can help us making rhythmic passes to shooters and things of that nature. Ball movement should be significantly better if we keep him on the floor and give him opportunities to show what he can do. I don't care for the Denver concerns as it pertains to, oh my God, what are we going to do with Jokic? Oh my God, what are we doing with Porter? They expected to do what they expected to do. But one thing we cannot allow is for Porter to go off for 30 points, 40 points, miss no shots. You got to do something about that dude. A lot of emphasis has been put on Murray. A lot of emphasis has been put on Jokic. But if Porter and Gordon are going off, we're going to have a long series, man. Y'all got to do something about those two because they provide the mismatch down there. Jokic is impossible to guard regardless. Murray's going to dance and he's going to do things in the fourth quarter regardless. But it's them 2 7-foot forwards that give them the rebounding edge. It's that catch and shoot Porter that ultimately ends up running the score up. We got to do something about those two. Do something about them. Shut them down and see if Denver can still put up enough points to overcome you. These are the type of things I want the Lakers to consider, man. Because I get it. You can spend your whole night and day trying to figure out how to figure out the unstoppable. You ain't stopping Jokic. He's already got like 3 MVPs, should be 4 if he gets this one. There's no stopping this dude, man. Y'all gotta let that go. You're not stopping him. But there are other things that can be stopped, and you focus on those. That's all I'm asking my team to do, man. That's it. I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm not asking you to do anything other than score over 120 points and expose the bench of the Denver Nuggets, man. Expose that bench. Make them show you what's back there. That's all I'm asking the Lakers to figure out for me. Can you expose that damn bench? You know, I put some things out there that I want certain players to do. I want Austin Reeves to be in positions to take Porter off the dribble. Test that back out. We talked about that earlier. I want Taurean Prince to focus on rebounding the basketball in this series. That's where he's going to make money. Besides hitting 3-point shots, which I actually trust him to do. I really do. I'll be very disappointed if his shot disappears in this series because he's been hitting it all season long. He's only had small stretches where the 3 hasn't fallen. He's probably our most reliable shooter outside of D'Lo. Probably more so from behind the arc than D'Lo in some ways. But, and Rui, you got to give Rui his credit as well. He's been hitting just about everything. But I need Taurean Prince, who I know coach is going to rely upon for better or for worse. I'm calling him out, and I really need him to rebound the ball. I can't have 4 rebound Taurean on the floor, bro. Unless that matches the minutes you're giving. You got to give me 6 or I want 7 rebounds out of Taurean Prince every night in this series. I feel like if he gives us 7 rebounds, he can give us a significant rebounding edge if everybody else does their job too. But he needs to be looking to chase down boards, man. So that's what I want to see from him. And LeBron James driving in the rim, driving into the paint, drawing fouls where he can, particularly on their forwards. I don't think Jokic is going to get called for too many fouls in this series. I'd be very surprised if they removed him from the series by way of fouls. It's just not to be expected. He's going to get his calls too. That's why I say just let him do what he does, scoring the ball. I wouldn't press him too much as it pertains to trying to stop him from scoring. If anything, I'd let him score and just keep him from passing and try to rebound the ball around him if at all possible. You let him score though, because at the end of the day, if you hack him, they're going to call fouls. You don't want that. You need to stay out of foul trouble. You need to win the foul battle, LA. We got to get fouled more than them. That's how we win. We get to the line. We drive at the rim. We get to the line. If we're not drawing fouls against this team, it's going to be difficult to beat them. Very, very difficult to beat them. So draw fouls if at all possible, and don't foul if at all possible. And don't get frustrated when you do get called for bogus fouls against Jokic, against Murray, because those are superstars and they're going to get bogus fouls. You know that. You know that. You go into it already prepared for that. You get your mind right for that now so you don't get called for technicals when things go wrong. Timeouts need to be called in a timely fashion. We know this as well. If we don't stop the bleeding on their runs, they will put us away. So that's on Darvin. You got to do it like you did in the first Pelican game. If you don't, we lose. It's that simple, bro. You got to call timeouts in that fashion. You can't be afraid of not having enough timeouts on the stretch of the basketball game. I don't care about that. If for some reason we mismanage our timeouts because we call too many, because we stop too many runs, I'll live with that more so than us having all the timeouts in the world at the end of the game and letting them go on runs. It's just, what would you prefer? I'm not afraid of running out of timeouts, Darvin. I'm afraid of not stopping the bleeding against this offense. That's what I'm afraid of. So these are things that we want to keep an emphasis on, man. What else? It's a lot, man. It's a whole lot when you're dealing with the Denver Nuggets, defending champions. But the most important thing besides the X's and O's is the same thing I've been saying. Keep your poise. Keep your poise. Already expect great things out of the Denver Nuggets. Don't let that stop you from responding. Down the stretch of basketball games, put good shooters, good free throw shooters on the floor. We have trouble out executing them. So I think one thing that we need to make sure we do is limit the low percentage shots. I've talked about AD's push shot many times. It's a little 10-footer, 12-footer that he shoots off his elbow. He kind of pushes it into the air. I swear I've seen him hit about 15% of them. Let's stop shooting those, AD. They don't work, bro. I'd rather you pass out of that position than to keep attempting low percentage shots. They don't fall, bro. How many times we seen him push them one arm push shots? They brick almost every damn time he take them. They're not a high percentage shot for him. I'd rather us work the ball around and get Rui Hachimura a shot since he barely misses most of the time. So this is what we're talking about, quality possessions. I don't want to see a single one of them damn shots, man. AD don't never hit those. Been watching him brick them shots for 2 years, bro. You don't make them. Don't take them. Period. Speaking of AD, if he's going to shoot his mid-range shot, he got to fall, bro. And he's been shooting it better this year than he has in the last couple years. But this year in this series, that shot got to fall. We don't have no margin for error, given the fact that we don't have the rebounding edge. If you miss shots, AD, it's going to hurt your team. Shots either fall or they don't. And that's why it's important you take the high percentage ones, man. Because if you're taking them low percentage push shots and them long range 22-footers and they brick, Denver's going the other way and they're going to control the pace. And that zeroes me back into what I just said. Quality possessions, because they are going to slow the tempo of the play down. I was listening to DTLF, Dan the Lakers fan, talk about how he wants us to play at a certain pace. The pace that I think makes the most sense for us is to speed up the game. Get in transition, dunk the ball. Force turnovers, defensive rebound, and clean up. That's where you want to get the game going in your favor. Get as many easy buckets in transition as possible. Because if you do not try to get those, they're going to slow the game down, play you a half court, and you're going to have trouble. That's really what it comes down to. You don't want them controlling the clock. You want the pace to be at what you want it to be in all of the games that we're playing against Denver every single night. Pace needs to be on the front of our minds. Because if they control the pace, the way that they play, they're going to make sure that all the possessions they get equality, and they're going to make sure they try to speed you up or slow you down, whatever makes them make sense. Likely slow you down and try to get you into a half court where Jokic can ultimately operate. So I personally think the Denver Nuggets want to play slowly. That's what I personally think. I think they want to play slow, even though they have players like KCP and Murray. Gordon can get out in the fast break a little bit. The majority of what they would like to do is slow it down so that Jokic don't have to do too much damn running. He's a big guy. Good condition, used to playing in altitude, but still a big dude. He don't want to be running all night. He don't want to be speeding, racing. No, he don't want to do that. We need to make sure that the pace is fast. And I said it, and I'll say it again. Outscoring them is key. Defense, as strange as it's going to sound to a lot of people, is secondary. Scoring is most important in this series. Scoring. Make them score 135 points to beat you every night. Speed that pace up to a pace they don't want to run every night. I don't care if it costs you a few turnovers. That's something that's going to be inevitable in certain situations. If we play too fast, we can make mistakes. But if they slow it down, it definitely plays in their favor because they got that 270-pound genius, and he's going to push AD around, and we know it. So the more long-range passes we can make, that we can connect on them fast breaks, the better. Them long passes that AD and Bron like to connect on, those are going to be extremely important in this series. We have to make them speed up. Because I'm telling you, if we play too slow, that plays right into Denver's favor, and Jokic gets to monotonously pick us apart in the half court, which is something that I do not think we can do anything about. I don't think so. And be careful with your passes. We talked about this in the last one. Salute the Kobe minute. We got to be careful with our passes. We've been really pedestrian with the basketball. I pointed out a few guys, but ultimately as a team, turnovers are going to be inevitable in certain situations against a good defensive team, which Denver has turned themselves into. But we're going to have to be careful about the unforced ones. Any game that you have too many unforced passes, you lost. Unforced turnovers, you lost. If they steal the ball, if they read something, we charge it to the game. But stepping out of bounds, travel, stupid crap like that, it get you beat. Can't do it against the champs. You'll get beaten doing that. So these are things that we need to shore up, and we need to play loose, play fast, and look to run the score up all game long for 7 straight games. Run it up, man. And look, here's something that we need to understand. I only got a couple more minutes to talk, but this is something that's real to me. LeBron James' philosophy, in my opinion, a lot of the time is to let the clock win the game for him when he has a lead. You do that against this powerfully executing team, and you're going to lose. You better run through the turnstiles, dunk on the way out the door. That's how you have to play against the Denver Nuggets. I'm telling you. And I mean this from all of my heart and soul. If we slow down and try to allow the clock to win the game for us, you're going to lose. Because Denver's going to make all their shots, erase your little lead, and end up having the lead at the end of the game if we think the clock is going to save us. The clock ain't going to save you. The same thing that you do in the first 38 minutes of the game are the same things you need to do in the final 10 minutes of the game. Okay? This is important, LA, because we make this mistake a lot of the time and end up blowing leads. It's what happened against the Pelicans. It's what happened against the Memphis Grizzlies. We have a bad habit of getting comfortable when the lead is up. That doesn't work against the Nuggets. They execute too well down the stretch of basketball games. They hit too many shots at a high enough clip in the fourth quarter for you to think that you can turn down your intensity against them. I understand we have older players. We would probably like to reserve energy and things of that nature. But that is not the series you're in. That's not the series you're in. They execute too well. They will close in on your lead if you think the clock is going to save your backside. It will not. You got to unlearn that mentality right away if you're going to beat the champs. Dunk on the way out the door. I want to see our intensity go up in the final 6 minutes. I want to see us looking to get high percentage shots in the final few 3-4 minutes, because you know that's what Denver's doing. Even if you're up by 30, in my opinion, you can't take your foot off the gas against the champions. You got to respect them as champs, and they'll find a way to win a basketball game that you take your foot off the gas. I promise. I don't care how much you think you up by. You take your foot off the gas, and it's going to be a loss in this series. Book that. So that's what I got to say, man. As I said, I'm going to continue to give you these videos as things come to mind. I do believe that our team can win this series, because I think we can catch the Denver Nuggets off guard as they think they know what's coming their way when they don't. Not as it pertains to some of the new pieces that we're adding to the situation and what they can do to deliberately change some of our problems. But we need our players to play well, and we need particularly Spencer Dinwiddie and Gabe Vincent to help us defensively. That is so important. They got to play good defense. I don't know about the offensive side. Hopefully they hit shots to keep themselves on the floor. But I don't expect nothing defensively out of Austin or D'Lo. So we need those two to play defense at an extremely high level to win this series, man. And like I said, our role players are so important in this series. Sometimes maybe AD and Bron don't have it, but we're going to need Austin, D'Lo, Torian, and all the guys to hold up their weight. Crash the glass, play phenomenally hard, win your 50-50 matchups, don't do anything mental that ultimately gets you kicked out of the game or get technical shots going their way, and keep your body language high. Keep your body language high, because you get defeated first in your mind, then on the scoreboard. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.